Insanity Goes On, episode 4, Spin the Wheel.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome here if you are new. My name is Manganet and this is the fourth episode, the fourth installment of my series of videos with Holy Tash called Insanity Goes On. I am determined to not over-explain this concept because this is one of those that it could easily get over-explained. This is a spin the wheel controls my rates, and it's more of a reading challenge and not so much a reading vlog because I'm not here to talk to you about the books, I'm here to do the challenge itself. For starters, I'm gonna spin this wheel right here. It has all numbers from 1 to 6 twice, which is exactly the same of just having them once each. But they are here twice, just so the wheel looks fuller and nicer. So for starters, I'm gonna spin it, and with that we're going to find out how many books I'm going to be reading for this challenge. If it's just one book, it's no challenge at all. So if I land on one, I'm gonna spin again. Let's go, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Boom. Okay. For a moment there, I thought I was gonna land on 6. So for this challenge, I'm going to be reading 4 books. Now, what the challenge is going to consist is, I am going to have to start a new book for each of these days. So 4 days in a row, I'm going to start a book. And each day, I'm gonna tell you which book I am going to start, and I'm gonna spin the wheel, and it's gonna give me another number between 1 and 6, and those are gonna be the amount of days that I have to read that book. Now, I need to make the book last that amount of days. So even if it's a 100-page book, which spoiler is not because I have none with that length, but even if it was and I landed on 6, I need to read the book every single day for the duration of those 6 days, and I need to finish it on day 6. Now, if I fail the challenge either by not reading one of the books one of the days, because then obviously they accumulate, or by not finishing the book when I'm supposed to, then it counts as a fail, and the consequence for that is that I'm going to have to add another book at the end. So instead of 4 books, it would be 5. You know what I mean? You'll get the gist as the days go on. So today is day 1, and the book that I'm going to be starting today, I'm risking it all here, but if you've seen my March TBR game, I'll leave it linked here. This was one of the books that got allocated to me. This is Stolen by Leslie Pierce, and the reason why I say I'm risking it all, it's because it's quite of a chunker. So if I land on 1 or 2 days to read this, I'm screwed. But I'm really looking forward to it, so hopefully I'll be able to read this and not fail straight away on the first day. So let's spin again and find out how many days do I have to read this book. Oh my god, so this means I have to read this entire book today. I will certainly do my best. The audiobook is 11 hours and 42 minutes. I've been trying the whole day to finish the book. And I mean, I made great progress. I'm going to exactly page 333, chapter 16. Like, I read this entire chunk. This is what I have left, which according to the audiobook is 1 hour and 16. I'm getting very sleepy, so I'm gonna go get ready for bed and go to bed. And I'm gonna try and read some more in there. I feel like I've done all of this and I managed to read up until now, and I'm so close to be able to finish the book in 1 day, which was what they will allocated to me. So fingers crossed I'll be able to, and I'll update you tomorrow. Where I'm from, we have this saying, dying on the beach, which is basically when you almost achieve something, but then you fail in the very last stretch at the end, which is exactly what happened to me yesterday with this book that I had to read in its entirety yesterday, and I almost did. This is where I stopped. 37 minutes from the ending. All I have left is this, after reading this entire chunk, just this, and I failed because I fell asleep. And I'm so mad for 2 reasons. First of all, because as I failed a challenge, I now need to add another book at the end, so instead of starting 4 books for this video, I'm gonna start at least 5. But also, because now I need to spin the wheel to see how many days I'm gonna read this for, but I'm almost at the end, so now I really want to get 1, just so I can finish the book today, because the story is very intriguing. But of course the universe is probably not gonna love me that much. So let's have a look, see how many days I have to read this for. So today would be day 1 again. Let's go! Please be one, please be one, please be one. Oh, no. So I have to read this for another 3 days. So today, tomorrow, and then finish the day after. I really want to know what's going on, and now I need to wait 3 days to finish it. Today is day 2, so that also means I'm starting a new book. This is the next one I'm starting, also from my March TBR. This is The Lucky Escape by Laura Jane Williams. I'm hoping this is a silly romance. This ended up not having the vibes that I thought it would. This is more like a mystery, although I thought it was gonna be historical fiction, because usually Leslie Pierce's books are. So I'm hoping this is a silly little romance. Let's spin the wheel and see how many days I have to read this one. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So I have to read this entire book today, which is fine. This one is not nearly as big as the other one. It's like half, a little bit more than half probably. But are you kidding me? I wanted the one for the other book. Okay, I have multiple things to say. The first thing is that I realized that I had exactly 3 chapters left on this book. So obviously 1 chapter a day. So I've read today's chapter already. This is where I am. 1 chapter tomorrow, 1 chapter the next day. Finish the book, done and dusted. Then today I started reading this book, and apparently I have to read the whole thing because the universe hates me. This is where I am, 100 pages in. I'm really enjoying it. I've just been listening to the audiobook so far while I've been cooking dinner, and just now I was putting TJ to bed and I was listening to some more. So 100 pages while just doing other things is not bad at all. I reckon I can finish the rest within the next 2 hours. Now, will I be able to do that? I want to say yes, because it's still fairly early. Let's see where the evening takes us. But the other thing that I wanted to say is that in this book, it says here, 1 failed wedding, 1 cancelled wedding, 1 unexpected honeymoon. And I didn't read this just before I started reading the book now, but obviously I did read it when I first bought the book, and I remember that I bought the book because I thought it reminded me of the Unhoneymooners, but that was ages ago. Right now, I forgot about this. So when I started listening to the audiobook, I didn't really know what the plot of the story was, and I was surprised by it, and I was really excited, and I'm really enjoying it, by the way. But what I wanted to say is that they are going on the unexpected honeymoon, the main character and her friend, old friend, but they haven't spoken to the years, obviously. But they are flying with Qantas from Heathrow to Perth in Australia, the non-stop flight, and that's the route that I do when I work. That's the route that I do, Heathrow to Perth. If you're wondering what I do when I'm on board, it's that 19 hours of direct flight, London to Perth, Australia. I am exhausted because I only slept 5 hours in total, but it was like in periods of an hour and a half at a time. But I read the entire book. There was a point where I thought I was not gonna be able to, because I still had like an hour left on the audiobook to finish it. But then DJ was unsettling so much in the crib, and I had to rock him so many times to sleep, and every time I just put the headphones in, that by the time that I got into bed I had 18 minutes left. So I was like, might as well. So I did. I finished the book, and the entire book in 1 day. Oh my god, who is she? But I'm so happy that I don't have to add another book to this challenge, because we are already on 5 books, if you remember correctly. I created this thing to help me keep track. So there's 1 line for each book, and the dark gray squares are the days where I have to read the book, and the ones that have the outline around them are the days where I need to finish the book. So like you see, on day 1 I needed to finish Stolen, but I didn't, so then I had 3 days according to the Spin the Wheel, which means I now need to finish reading it on day 4 of the challenge. The Lucky Escape I had to start and finish on day 2, has an outline because that was the day I was supposed to finish, and yes, I completed that, and now we are on to day 3. So let's see what we're gonna be reading. I have 2 more books on my TBR for the month. One of them is probably gonna be like a mystery, so I'm probably gonna leave that one until I finish the Stolen, because that's also a mystery and I don't want to get confused in case the stories are somehow similar. So I'm gonna go ahead and select for today this book, The Woman Who Took a Chance by Fiona Gibson, and let me grab my phone. Let's spin the wheel and see how many days I have to read this book. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 4 days. So I'm gonna be reading it today, tomorrow, the day after, and I'm gonna finish it on day 6 of this challenge. It's actually a good result because I do have a couple of videos that I want to edit and publish, but with this madness of having to read books in one day, I haven't had any time to sit in front of the computer and do it because, as you know, my time is very limited. So I'm happy that I have 4 days to do it. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to either see the number of pages or the number of chapters and divide it in 4. Obviously I don't have to follow that strictly, but that will give me a good idea on how much I should read in each day to make sure I finish it on time. And also today I need to read one more chapter of this because I'm doing one a day until I finish. So those will be the books that I'll be reading today. Not a lot of reading, which is good. I'm very tired and I have other things to do. So I'll see you either later today or tomorrow. It's the end of day 3 and I am very tired, but I managed to read the things that I wanted to read. So 1 chapter of this, and I only have 1 more chapter tomorrow, and I'm going to finish tomorrow, hopefully, because that's what I'm supposed to do. And for this one, I just needed to read it in general, but I had my markings and I managed to reach the first section, which is 88 pages. So I'm on track for also finishing this in 4 days. So I'll see you tomorrow for book number 4 and another spin the wheel. Please ignore the state of me. It's been one of those days where I had time for nothing. And I went to the swimming lesson with TJ and everything is a mess. It's 7:30 p.m. and I haven't even spun the wheel, use proper verbing. I haven't even spun the wheel to see what is happening today. But for today I had to finish Stolen, which I did just now. I had 1 chapter left. I listened to it while I was putting TJ to sleep. So this is done and yay. I have to continue reading The Woman Who Took a Chance. I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach the second target. We'll see where the evening takes us. And I have to pick another book and read. Now, I still have 1 more book on my March TBR, but it's quite long and I don't want to risk it because you know the universe doesn't love me. So if I get a 1, I think it's not happening. But if I get a 2, I don't want to risk having a huge book. So I'm going rogue. And I decided to pick Your Place or Mine. And now, of course, I'm gonna get like a 6. But let's spin the wheel and see what I get from here. Okay, it's not terrible. Could have gone with a slightly bigger book. This is literally the shortest book I have on my shelf because I didn't want to risk having to carry on with this vlog for all eternity. It might still happen. So 3 days to read this. I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to divide this in 3 and then I'll try and use those as targets for every day just so I can keep myself accountable, but obviously as long as I read 1 page, it's done. So I'm gonna get my reading done for today for these 2 books and I'll see you probably tomorrow and hopefully looking a bit better. Updates from yesterday. I read my pages of this successfully. I have 1 more section today and then tomorrow I'm going to finish it. About this book, we're following a flight attendant whose company went burst and so they all got made redundant, which is exactly what happened to me. So when we were in the beginning of the story following that, it was a bit pulling on my strings. It was too close to home for me. She's 50 and she's discovering the world of online dating. I don't think this is gonna be more than a 3 stars, to be honest. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just nothing special. But I'm not gonna DNF it, even though it's probably gonna end up being a 3 stars, just because I'm kind of enjoying. I'm not enjoying it. Let's say it like that. And then yesterday I had to start this one. And it was in 3 days, I believe, at least that's the markings I have here. And I listened to it on audiobook in bed when I went to bed, but I fell asleep while listening. So I need to go have a look now and figure out where I stopped and I'll let you know. Okay, so I know for sure that I read the first 2 chapters and I believe I fell asleep somewhere around chapter 3. Just for reference, the first marking was at the end of chapter 12. So obviously I didn't reach that, but I'm gonna remove this bookmark and let's see if today I can read the whole 178 pages minus 10 or so that I already read. So let's have a look. I'm gonna put my bookmark back on chapter 3 and I'll just resume from there. So I have this entire chunk here to read today. This is how we stand at the moment. So I did finish Stolen and then I read The Woman Who Took a Chance and I did read a couple of pages of Your Place or Mine. Today's day 5. I am going to pick a book for the last row so far of this challenge and I think I'm gonna go with the last book of my TBR. It's quite a big book. Obviously it's a paperback, so it doesn't look that big. Let's hope that the universe loves me and that I don't get a 1 or a 2, because that would be very unfortunate. How many days do I have to read it? Five days, which will put us going all the way until the 9th, which is the day we're gonna go on our vacation. So if this all goes well, if I don't fail any of these days, I'll be able to finish this just before we go on vacation, or you know, potentially I would finish this last book on the plane or something on the way there. Fingers crossed I'll be able to finish this challenge before my vacation actually starts, so that during vacation I can chill and read whatever I want whenever I have time. Because if I'm doing this challenge while on vacation, then it will be much harder to read, and then if I don't do the things, I'll keep adding books to this and it would be a mess, right? This vlog would literally never be done. But fingers crossed that's not gonna happen and we're gonna be able to finish this challenge until Saturday. These are the 3 books that I have to read a bit of today. I'm back. I just finished dividing this book into 5 sections, and this book is over 400 pages. These are chunks of 80 something pages. 3 things to read today. This was the first one, and I read today's pages, and I actually read a bit more because I was listening to the audiobook while I was doing other things, so I just kept going. I have just a little bit to finish the book, which I'm gonna do tomorrow, no problem, so yay. Very average story. Then I need to read this and I need to start this. Haven't read anything. 1 page of each is enough to complete the challenges. However, I need to finish this book tomorrow, so I need to make a good dent on it. Here's my plan. I'm gonna read 1 chapter of this unless it gets really interesting, and then I'll be obligated to continue. But ideally 1 chapter, maybe 2 of these, and then I'll move on to this one and I will read until my eyes either fall off or just close themselves because of my permanent exhaustion nowadays. And I'll speak to you tomorrow for an update. Came for a walk because honestly I ran out of ways of entertaining him. This is just my life recently. But it actually goes well because today I'm supposed to finish 2 books. So I'm just gonna walk. I posted a book on the lockers and I'm walking to the library to return another book. Might have a little perusal to see if there's anything interesting there. And while I'm walking and clearly running out of breath, I'm gonna listen to the audiobooks. One of them I'm almost finished. I think I'm gonna listen to that one first. Finished the Woman Who Took a Chance. I know I said it would probably be 3 stars, but now I'm actually considering if it's not a 2 stars. The book didn't do anything wrong, but I was so bored by the end of it. It was a little bit predictable, but not in a good way, not in a way that made me think, yeah, I'm glad that happened. I don't know, I was so bored. I've been walking for ages, the library was closed, so I ended up just putting the book through the little window for returns. I went to a couple of charity shops, had a look at the books, didn't record anything there because there was no books for me to purchase, sadly. But, I mean, they had books, just nothing that I wanted. When I got back home, I finished listening to the chapter that I was listening to, and then I checked on the book where I was, and I was going on to chapter 29, which is exactly where my target for today, for the last day, starts. It's this section here. So basically, during my walk, I managed to listen to the pages that I was supposedly missing from yesterday, which is great. Now I'm gonna go cook dinner and finish listening to this. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna listen to the whole thing when I cook, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna cook and I'm gonna listen, and I'll give you an update later on when I finish this. And today is actually the first day that so far I don't have to start a new book. Today has been incredibly successful. I just finished reading this one. I'm gonna give it, I don't know, I'm in between ratings again. I feel like this is a 3 stars. This is how the schedule is currently looking. I finished the 2 books that I had to finish today, and all I have to do is read a bit of The Golden Couple, which I started last night. And actually, when I first started, I was thinking to myself, I don't know if I'm in the mood for this kind of story. But then it became actually very intriguing. I read the first 3 chapters. It's about a couple that is going therapy to fix their marriage, but the therapist has lost her license. So she has some dodgy schemes. We don't entirely know which ones. This is not a spoiler, it's written on the synopsis. And now this is all I have to read today, and I can read as little or as much as I want. Yesterday I didn't reach my target, so technically today I could read yesterday's and today's target, but obviously if I want to read more, then that's fine. I'm just going to remove the first bookmark. Another day, another walk. Today I'm not listening to the audiobook, I have my headphones in, but I'm just listening to music. Because yesterday I didn't reach the target. I barely read anything. I listened to maybe 4 chapters or something, and I don't know. I was interested in the beginning of the book, but I'm just in the mood for those silly romances and not a full-on mystery. Even though it's also about a couple, so one could argue that it could have some romance things going on. And I'm curious to know about this weird therapist and her methods, but I'm not feeling the book. And if I DNF it, I'll have to choose another one and then spin the wheel, and it will potentially drag on to my vacation, like I mentioned. I don't want to DNF it, but I don't want to read it right now. I think this is what people call a soft DNF, but I know myself, and I know that if I soft DNF something, it will immediately become a hard DNF because I'll never pick it up again. On my walk, I ended up walking for a very long time because I was quite enjoying myself. I wasn't feeling listening to the audiobook, so I just listened to music the whole time. And you know what? It was great, because recently I find that I've been listening to a lot of hours of a lot of different audiobooks, which I've been loving, and it's definitely helped me getting over my massive reading slump. But it felt good for the first time in forever having my headphones in, listening to nothing but music. However, in the evening then, I decided to give this book a second go. So I started listening a bunch of hours ago when I went to put DJ to sleep, and I've just been listening ever since. And now I just checked where I was, and I'm here going on to chapter 38, I think, which was 2 chapters into tomorrow's section, which is the last section that I have to read. So all I have to read tomorrow is this bit, and to be honest, I wish I could finish it today, because now that I listened to, like, I don't know, 2 hours straight of this audiobook, I'm really into the story. I was a bit confused in the beginning. I always get like that when there's too many characters. It drifts me off a little bit of the story because I always confuse everyone's names, and when I start getting confused, it's difficult for me to be into the story. But now it's freaking me out. The last couple of chapters properly freaked me out. I actually finished listening to one and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm not listening to any more because I need to go to sleep soon and I don't want to be freaked out. It's freaky. It's one of those where everyone lies and you don't know who you can trust. Oh my god, I was just gonna say that tomorrow is gonna be the last day of this challenge and I get to finish this book, but no, I don't. So I'm not 2 chapters into tomorrow's pages. I'm 2 chapters into Saturday's pages. So I don't get to finish this book tomorrow? Oh my god, I just realized that. God, I can't believe I don't get to know the end of this story tomorrow. Right, I don't have a lot of time to update you. Yesterday I ended up not recording any updates, but I did listen to a little bit of the audiobook while I was putting TJ to sleep. I don't know exactly how long because it was only a little bit because I didn't have that much left in the book. Whew, I'm out of breath and out of time. Today I have 12 minutes left on the audiobook. We are literally loading the car now and about to go on our vacation. So I am going to finish the audiobook, maybe in the car because it's only 12 minutes, and then I'll update you later on when I do, and I'll let you know the final rating. It looks like it's gonna be a huge success in terms of vlog. I finished the book. It's a 3-star. And
this is an announcement for all the passengers in the lounge. The lounge will be closed in about 10 minutes.
it's a 3 stars. So with this, I have finished the challenge.